And we have closing remarks by me. Financial remarks is from Preston Ruby, who is our Director of Public Relations. He's giving us a Preston.
So I get the fun job. So it's been a very, very interesting year. And when I look at this room, I feel, probably doesn't really begin to describe the feeling that I have. And I want to talk about, and that's why I say it's fun, because I get to sit up here and do all of our bragging rights for the last year. And that's pretty much what it's been. But to really go there, I got to go back a few years. So a lot of folks really don't know me that well yet, but I've spent probably about 20 years in Gary, Indiana, at this point, tenuring with Democrats. So, and there was no Republican Party at the time. It was, independents for the most part. So, I ended up going to Chicago for a little while, and I came back. And one of the independents that I represented said to me, well, Preston, why don't you join the Republican Party? And I'm like, what Republican Party? There's no Republican Party. What are you talking about? And I said, no. There is a Republican Party. And I'm like, okay. So he points me John Collier's direction. So I go meet with John, and I meet with his wife. And, we had a great conversation. And then I went back to Eddie and I said, Eddie, there's 3 of them. What are we going to do with 3 of them? So, and he says, Preston, just trust me, go do it. So, and this is Eddie Tarver. He had ran for mayor in 2015. We actually had a few other people from the team. I managed the team. So I had, he's a good friend of mine. I had a lot of trust. I said, okay, Eddie. I don't understand why I'm doing this, but I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to go work with 3 people. so that's what I did. But the reason why I bring that up is because, so that was February. Hasn't even been a year. It's barely been over 10 months. And the accomplishments are epic. They are epic. That was the GOP that I was introduced to. I'm going to tell you something. John Collier, he basically started a party from scratch. That takes guts. Especially the Republican Party in a place like Gary, Indiana. It takes courage. And so that's where we started, and there was no money. There was no nothing. We did the first couple meetings in my basement. Remember, John? That's where we did our first couple meetings at. We did it in my basement. So, it was nice because we just bought the house. There was nothing in there. So it was pretty convenient. And since then, we have had changes in leadership. We've had events. We've had a lot of things happen. So we have Chairman Anniversary now. We had in July. We did our conference in July. Anniversary, I'll tell you what, everything the man touches turns to gold. So, a lot of folks, this is probably your first Republican event that you've attended. Show of hands, how many people are attending a Republican event in Gary, Indiana for the first time? A lot of hands, right? A lot of hands. So, this isn't actually the first event with Ivan as chairman. It's the second one. This is Ivan's second packed house. So, the first one we did, and it's the board, I shouldn't say decided. We got Jeff, we got Lucy, we got Maya, right? So, and I'll be good for this. But it was the second packed house. And that's incredibly important. And that also goes to show there's been a lot of support from outside too. Chairman Kathleen Hilton, Chairman Jeffrey was in there. Because that event, there was a lot of people from Gary, but there was a lot of outside people too, and we packed it out. So it was very interesting. I even brought some great speakers. It was an awesome event. We had Chairman Angela Brown. Will's campaign manager through the primary, and I'm happy to say we beat her. And I'm going to tell you what, she killed us on social media. She killed us. I was supposed to be Will's social media guy. No, she trounced me. It was terrible. It was really embarrassing. And then, we had Jeff get elected, as our treasurer, and we were really, really blessed to have Jeff. I'm going to tell you something. If you're running a few businesses, it's pretty easy to come in and know what you're doing and keep the book straight. And I'll tell you this, folks wanted to nominate me for treasurer. And I've never seen this before. Leanne says she saw it once before. But I believe I was the first person of all time to stand up and give a speech of why I shouldn't be the treasurer. I said, I don't want it. So I gave every excuse because they insisted that I run. So I gave every excuse why I shouldn't. I don't think I got a single vote. I did a real good job making sure that I didn't get elected. But Jeff has done a phenomenal job. His books are high and tight. We're very lucky to have him. And it's new leadership all around because we also have Lucy. Remember the show, Everybody Loves Lucy. She's a very GOP sweetheart, right? Okay. No matter, if things get frustrating, doesn't bother Lucy, she smiles. Things get hard, Lucy doesn't care, she just won't sleep. Which is why we have all kinds of new PCs and why we had all the poll workers filled, right? So it's been an incredible string of events. We had really, really great races. Will Miller took on Mark Spencer. Now, Mark Spencer, just to give you guys an idea of what these candidates go up against in Gary, Indiana. Mark Spencer, and I'm probably more direct than I should be sometimes, Mark Spencer was an Eddie Melton puppet. So Eddie Melton fully funded this guy. He had a massive war chest. That's what Will had to go against. And Will was able to get 28% of the votes. Mark Spencer had an $80,000 war chest. Will Miller had a $4,000 war chest. And the reason why I bring this up is because it shows as a party, and this is why we're the fiscally responsible conservative party, right? We're getting 7 times the votes per dollar that the Democrats spend. That's not in the state. I've managed 6 campaigns now, all of them against the Democrats. And so I have a very, very unique perspective when it comes to running campaigns and how things get done. And I can tell you, the Republican Party in 2027, we can win. Yeah. We can win. Yeah. If we have 20% of what they have, we can win because we're smarter and we're more organized. And we have basic common sense. So we had Leslie Gallner. Is Leslie still here or did she leave? I think she left. That's a shame too. Leslie Gallner, her story was just epically amazing because she didn't have the primary. So she had just a few months to go up against Reagan Hatcher, and I'm sure everybody knows the name Hatcher. Yeah. I don't have to tell you how entrenched this lady is. And she was able to score 38% of the vote. But here's the killer. She got 40% of Miller Beach. Wow. I can tell you, after running as many campaigns as Gary as I ran, the key for the Republican Party to take this city, 2 districts, Miller Beach, Black Oak. And Black Oak is very interesting because they've only voted at 2%. But that's also because the Democrats keep on trying to change the polling place every year.
Exactly, yep, exactly.
And it was the pleasure of Will Miller, myself, and a few other members. I believe Lucy was there. And we went over there and stopped that for the first time as Republicans. Vernon Smith. You know what? We all know who Vernon Smith is. I would rather go against Eddie Melton than Vernon Smith. So I mean, enough said right there. That was tough. That was tough. But we had all of the Republican candidate positions filled for the first time in decades. We had all of the poll positions filled for the first time in decades. We could almost say, and I think the number is 6 away from what we need to fill all of our precinct committeeman positions. One accolade after another by this new board. So, hats off to them. Which, brings me to closing this up, because I don't talk your ear off all night. That's another thing too. Randy Niemeyer has or will be in contact with Eddie Melton. Our voices will be heard very soon, because Randy and I even are going to start filling all of these board positions that have laid empty for decades. I got the logistics, I'll volunteer for that. Things like the transportation board, things like city planning, all kinds of things like that. We're going to start filling them. We're going to have people in those positions to get ready, because I was probably going to call somebody and ask you to fill those roles. So we already have 2027 candidates that I've spoken to. I'm not going to say who their names are. We're not going to put it out yet. But there are people that are already planning to run for council seats in Gary, Indiana. This is where the courage comes in. And I'm going to tell you from experience, and these guys will all tell you from experience, it takes courage to do what we're going to ask you to do. We have 51 precincts, I believe. 53. I should know that now. 53 precincts. And we have 63,000 citizens in the city. That's a little over 1,000 citizens per precinct committee person. We have a year and a half, and this is going to be a first time ever too, because candidates that have been running against the Democrats in Gary, it's been the same thing. Wait until the last minute, throw the hat in the ring, and go in totally unprepared. We're not doing that this time around. So we're going to have almost 2 years to prep. That's 2 years for the precinct committee men of Gary, Indiana, to go out and tell the good news of why you're a Republican. Now, Mark Robinson did a speech once in South Carolina during the last campaign, and he kind of made fun of us Republicans a little bit. And he says, we Republicans were shy, we're afraid. We don't want to go to work and tell people we're a Republican. People walk up to you and say, well, why are you a Republican? Well, I liked Ronald Reagan, and he was a nice guy, and so that's why I'm a Republican. Is that going to buy a vote? I don't think so. But fiscal responsibility, common sense, maybe teaching our kids how to read and write. Maybe keeping boys out of girls' bathrooms. Maybe balancing the checkbook for the first time in 70 years in Gary, Indiana. All of that. Those are good things to talk about. We need to have the courage to go out and tell our friends, tell our neighbors, tell our co-workers here in Gary why it's time to start voting Republican. We build that army, and in 2027 we'll have the funding and we'll have everything we need.
Yes, we will.